Welcome to today's video as a recording of this Thursday, December 26th, 2024. We have less than 1 week remaining until we're off to 2025. So without further ado, here is my 2024 arcade tour. And starting off in the studio, we do a lot of intros in here, a lot of reviews, and if you're gonna catch Loki in here, or myself live streaming, this is in fact the room that this takes place. And I had a busy 2024. Actually picked up both of these cabinets. Picked up Turtles in Time Used. Gentleman drove it up from Ohio. Met me near Milwaukee. I don't know what Loki is doing. Bought Golden Axe before it sold out. And kind of completed the 4-player cabinets. And I kind of had a vision of keeping them in this room. And I think it fits pretty good. Across from here, something that you will see a lot in a live stream, in an intro, is this back wall over here. And actually, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 has been all over this house. This is its final destination. After everything was said and done, I wanted to move it in here just to have this nice backdrop along with my Marvel Superheroes countercade, NBA Jam countercade with my G.I. Joe 3A scale riser, or stand I should say, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Shinku Hadouken, and as of recording of this cabinet is still available. Actually, Yoga Flame has sold out. So if you're interested in playing Street Fighter 2, playing some beat 'em ups online, this cabinet's still available. I believe it's at Wayfair. Now my biggest purchase for 2024 was obviously the ALP, and I'm just gonna roll with this. Loki is pretty excited about the arcades, as long as she doesn't take out the blinds. Guess she just kind of feels the energy in here. This was the biggest purchase of the year, and no regrets. I absolutely love this. Now, what I do want to say is, because it's been brought up, you know, would you have waited? I am glad that it's just the SSF kit is installed. Everything was taken care of. All I really have to do is just buy pinball packs now. So everything is said and done. I actually picked up Marvel Pinball Arcade 1-Up. Forgot to turn that topper on. It's my Sabos topper. Before I picked this up, it kind of held me over until this came out. But in comparison, guys, there really isn't any. As far as loving Marvel, that's why it's still here. But you can just see, it's night and day difference. And you just got to be a fan of Marvel or Star Wars or Attack from Mars if you're going to hold on to your arcade 1-Up, because At Games has completely, you know, taken over for the pinball. Literally right next door in the next room is the actual arcade. Let me close the door. We have The Simpsons, which I have replaced the marquee. Here's the tin sign I got from KI Pro, another new cabinet for 2024. So just to state that kind of the slow releases, kind of rehashes for Arcade 1-Up in 2024, I actually picked up quite a few cabinets. Time Crisis was in 2023. It feels like 2024. But in fact, this was I've actually had this for a year now. Mortal Kombat 2, my first Arcade 1-Up Deluxe. And of course, my very first Arcade 1-Up, X-Men. And you can see the marquee is a Sabos. I did swap that out. Also put up these LED lights. I always kind of keep it kind of the purplish, pinkish color. Kind of goes with X-Men. Pac-Man XL that I got from Costco. Dragon Slayer, another cabinet that I picked up in 2024 along with a Sabos topper. And I have been told that this sword is actually facing the wrong direction. It's actually supposed to point this way if it's arcade accurate, but since I figured it was one of a kind, I just kind of rolled with it. I did light up those coin doors. Gives it a nice, you know, authentic look. I have seen this in person, and you know, they did a good job with this cabinet. A lot of the reasons why I picked up so many in 2024 that had been sitting around for a while is I was afraid that they would be sold out, which in fact they did. And I didn't want to have any regrets of missing out on those cabinets. Galaga Deluxe, my Star Wars cabinet that I have the Buy Stuff racing box in. Perfect for racing games. Yes, that's Daytona you're hearing. My MVSX, my iArcade Space Invaders. It always seemed like these two were on like a chopping block, that, you know, when space became an issue, which, you know, space is always an issue, I have held on to these. And, you know, the whole thing is I wanted to have one of each. I wanted to have something, not just Arcade 1-Up. I wanted to have the MVSX. I wanted to have the iArcade. I wanted an AtGames. You know, now we have the Evercade Alpha. So just kind of collecting everything, because I don't want to have just one of too many. I just, you know, kind of branch it out. Another purchase for 2024, almost as high, expensive as the ALP. I got KI Pro, another cabinet that has sold out, and this is almost a perfect cab. You can see the marquee. Yeah, it's a good shot because, you know, you're looking at a Sabos marquee, This has a little washed out on it. It's unfortunate because of the price that I paid for this, that they couldn't just kind of get it right. I mean, look at Galaga, for example. You know, you don't see that. You don't see the washout in black. I mean, this is just a deluxe cabinet. This is a Pro. And Galaga marquee looks better. Space Invaders, if you get close, it does it more justice. But for some reason on camera, it just kind of washes out. The MVSX looks good. I have Daytona going in Fast and Furious. That's what we're hearing. And it's the Buy Stuff racing box. You know, I thought I lit up those coin doors. I think I did. You know what? They kind of moved on me. You know, the thing with the light up coin doors is the tape that I used in there must not have sealed properly. So I'm gonna have to go back in there and kind of fix that. Doggone it. Just noticing that now. My Terminator 2 cab, which is kind of, you know, pop culture, so iconic, seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger walking in here, has the retro shooter Buy Stuff control deck. And, you know, this came with one game. It's a shame that they didn't put, you know, just a couple of shooters. I wouldn't have done all of this. For everything that I stuck into here, I paid more for everything. The retro shooter box, the control deck, than I paid for the whole cabinet. So just kind of throwing that out there, that if you're looking to do that to a big buck hunter, to your Time Crisis, to your Terminator 2, it's an expensive mod. I'm leaving Time Crisis the way it is. It was already expensive as it was. I like having the stock games on here, but it is nice having a multi-cade. If I could go back, just kind of bumped into this gun, I would have left Fast and Furious alone, because I can play this on here. But I just thought that, you know, we'd get a 19-inch monitor in here. We kind of have like an XL kind of look here. We have a 19, a 19, a 19, a 19. But I do miss having the actual Fast and Furious and the Tokyo Drift on here. Kind of a regret, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with the racing box, but since I already have one, I guess I didn't need a second. I would have just left it. I'm really bummed out about those coin doors. I would have just left it alone. But yeah, this has 15 arcades in this room, and it's pretty maxed out. I kind of wanted to put something right here. The problem is it gets really tight to get around this corner. So 15 is what I've gone with. Actually, Galaga used to sit in that spot, and it would just be a little tight getting in here, especially around this back side over here too. It's a tight room, probably 11 by 11, but you know, if you position these correctly, you know, you can kind of maximize it. And of course, you know, 4-player control decks is going to eat up a lot of space. And you can see that with X-Men and Simpsons, it does take up a lot of real estate, but I just didn't want to shrink them down. I like having the 4 players. I think it's comfortable, but you know, on the downside, it takes up a lot more space than these would. Now, believe it or not, the Golden Tee XL. And I've stated this before, but if you're new to the channel, if you've never heard this before, this was actually my second arcade one-up. And the lady's a little weird in here. X-Men was my first. Golden Tee XL, my second. And I want to state something that in the room we were just at, in the arcade, X-Men has sat in there since day one. At one point, it was just X-Men in there. When I got this cabinet, it went right in this room. This has been in the same spot. Originally, I was going to move it up there. I was going to take it downstairs, which is where we're heading next. And I wanted to point out something else, but there is a reason why I have held on to this with another purchase that I did this year, is because this is my second cabinet, the first XL that Arcade One Up ever released. And you know, we're not going to get something like this again with that monitor. You can see that the coin doors on here, I did a better job taping this one. So the way that I do these with the LED strips, it didn't work out for Fast and Furious. I'm gonna have to go back, open up the back, and reapply some stuff. I guess I used electrical tape. I should have used duct tape. So kind of the difference on that one. But this is arcade number 2 and my iArcade hat. And I just want to state that the whole thing with this cabinet, with this one in general, is it resembles a real arcade. There aren't a lot of arcade one-ups that I can say that. You could put this in a room with actual arcades and it would fit. It would look smaller, but it would fit. And kind of a spoiler alert, the reason why I got this was for bowling. I just love the bowling on here. It would have been great if it would have been a strike. And lastly, down in Lucky's Gym, we do have 3 more arcade one-ups, and you know, kind of the arcade one-up heavy, and that's exactly why I have held on to other cabinets. Even if I don't play them as much as the iArcade, as the MVSX. If I would have sold it, or if I chose, you know, to sell it this year or next year, I'll regret, because they're gonna be hard to find and you're gonna pay a lot more. I have sold cabinets only to re-buy them again. So kind of learning my lesson from that, but these are the last 3 arcade one-ups. And note that I do have another Golden Tee, and the reason why I have this one along with the other one is I just can't part. I do have a problem, I'll admit it. I cannot part with that because it was arcade one-up number 2, but this one a little bit better of a games list. The monitor's better, but it doesn't really look like a real arcade. It's the same shell, but just the design doesn't resemble something that I see in Golden Tee. And that's another reason why, kind of a more classy of a look. That's why I have held on to my first Golden Tee, and I never turned on those lights. I keep running into stuff. This fan just came out of nowhere. I can turn on the lights on my NBA Jam Deluxe, but unfortunately no light up deck protector on the NFL Blitz. But yeah, these are the last 3 in Lucky's Gym, and there's my certificate of authenticity, the Volt NBA Jam. All in all, I think I picked up 7 arcades this year. I think it was Star Trek, Marvel Pinball, Alter Beast, Golden Axe, Turtles in Time, Killer Instinct Pro, the XL Golden Tee we just looked at. Is that 7? And you know what? I'm not sure if NBA Jam Deluxe was 2023 or 2024. Honestly, I can't remember, but 7 or 8. Oh, Dragon Slayer. Yeah, it was a busy year, but every cabinet has sold out. And that's why the FOMO kind of got the best of me. By the way, I did turn on that topper. Took a little while to get that from Sabos, but I'm glad I did, because hadn't been for that topper, this would have looked so much, I mean, it helps. This really towers over everything, but it doesn't make it look, it would look a lot smaller if I didn't have that topper. And you know, I didn't want it to look goofy. I understand that the countercades may be a little odd, but the thing is that if I got rid of these stands, I'll never be able to find another iArcade stand. So it's just kind of, I'm going to hold on to these. I actually bought these twice. I sold them, bought them again. I don't want to do that again. I don't necessarily play these a lot, but having the Punisher on here is why that Marvel will never go anywhere. And I don't know, this just kind of has a very unique look to it. And it kind of blends in with that MVSX stand. So yeah, it was a busy 2024. 2025 could be busy as well, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as room, but we'll figure it out. I want to thank everybody for watching. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys next time. By the way, I was going to do my outro sitting down here, but the thing is Loki was so wound up when we started the video. Guess who's sitting down in the chair now? You know, when she's kind of chilling, just kind of leave it alone. Thanks for watching, guys. One last thing, that I started buying these in 2022, and it was 2022 was busy, 2023, and then of course this year was all FOMO. It was just stuff that I felt was selling out, and I wanted to pick it up. I know a lot of people feel maybe they started late, and you know, you missed out. Like these two cabinets are sold out, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to find them. They're going to be on Marketplace, so just be patient. You know, if you're looking to get into the hobby, there's always going to be plenty of home arcades available. It's a great look. So we'll just kind of close out with, dare I say, maybe two of the best 4-player cabinets.